afternoon, and welcome to the Living Well radio program. You can find us here every Wednesday at 1 p.m. on KATB 89.3 in Anchorage, as well as KJLP 88.9 in Palmer. You can also catch us online at katb.org. My name is Cammie. Say hi to everybody again, Betty.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. It is cold, isn't it?
It is cold this morning.
We are so excited to have a new friend in our studio this morning. We have got, or actually this afternoon, the day is just cruising by, isn't it?
It is.
Got to keep track of what time it is over here. I've got my scarf and gloves and hat on here in the studio, so it's hard to believe it's afternoon.
I know it's hard to remember when you're all wrapped up.
Yes.
Trying to stay warm.
Yes. But again, we are so excited to be having Linda Leuberger joining us today with StoneCroft Ministries. And I have to tell you, I am so excited to have you in here, Linda, because I have no idea what StoneCroft does. I know that Betty does. So this is going to be truly me getting to know you and asking some good questions to get to know this organization and you a little bit better. So thanks for joining us today.
Well, you're welcome. I'm looking forward to giving you the information.
So tell us, what is StoneCroft Ministries?
Well, StoneCroft is a women's organization that's been around for about 77 years. And our main purpose is evangelism. We want to share Jesus with others. And we also teach women how to share Jesus with others.
Wow, what a great tool to have.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
And so how long exactly has it been around, did you already say?
Yeah, 77 years.
Wow.
And we're in all over the United States and in 77 countries around the world.
Really? Was
Yes.
that planned for those numbers to match?
No, I don't think so.
Somebody might have set that goal. In 77 years, we want to be in 77 countries. What a feat. That's pretty awesome.
Incredible.
It really is. And I love the number 7.
I did not know what StoneCroft was either until a couple of years ago, but I got invited to one of the luncheons, and I love being with these women. And Linda is absolutely right. Their number one ministry is evangelism. That's all they're about, is spreading the gospel. And they have a lot of new things coming up, and I'm very anxious for Linda to share with us. But first, Linda, would you tell us how StoneCroft came to be?
Well, it started with one woman that had a passion for prayer, and she set aside a regular time during her day in the busyness of life with her children and her husband to dedicate to praying. And then through that time of prayer, the Lord really prompted her that she needed to expand that ministry. So she went out with friends and neighbors and people that she knew in the community, and she got 24 prayer groups started around her community. And then from there, it kept multiplying but prayer has always been the center of our organization. And anything that we do in any of the other venues that we tap into, it's always founded in prayer.
So you mentioned that you equip women to, share their story and build their testimony. How exactly do you guys do that?
Well, we have several ways. We have speakers trainings that we have usually once or twice a year, depending on the need. And we have an excellent team that does training. And then we have a review team that helps tweak it and get it just perfect. And we keep in mind that our training is specifically for you to learn how to share Jesus with the pre-believer, someone that doesn't yet know Jesus. So we do things like we teach you not to use Christianese, because if you say, would you like to be saved, to somebody that doesn't know anything about Jesus, they're going to think you're nuts. And so it's just a real excellent training. And then like I said, we have a review team that goes over it. They just try to help you fine tune it. And we base how we help you on what your needs are. If you're going to speak for our organization, you must be an approved speaker. If you want to learn how to speak in a women's ministry type setting, we can help you with that. We have another little thing that we do that's been really, many women say, oh, I don't have a story. But we do what we call a 3 to 5 minute testimony, where they take colors and they draw out their story. And it is just amazing how many women go through that process and come out and say, I really do have a story to tell. And it's like, yes, you do. So it's really a wonderful thing. And we're having one starting sometime in January. And I don't have a specific date or time yet, but we do have one coming in January. We have one of our national speaker trainers coming up in January to help us with that.
And so is that a one-day event or an ongoing type training?
Well, it's a one-day event. And then after that, then we help you, refine it over the process of however long it takes you to do it.
Wow, that is really cool. I could definitely get interested in that.
I have tried for, I think this will be my third year trying to get into the speaker training. And it just hasn't worked out for me for whatever reason. Either I was out of town or I had other commitments. But I have heard nothing but good things about their speaker training. Mm-hmm. And every time that I have been to one of their luncheons or one of their meetings and heard their speakers are fantastic. They're fantastic.
Well, and I recently actually had a friend telling me about, I think she attended a training or a meeting, or maybe, I don't know if you were there too, Betty, but she said that you guys will really try to get to know, what does this woman enjoy? What are some of your interests? And try to build parallels between their testimony and their story and their interests and how to incorporate that into their message.
Yes.
I thought that is so cool.
They also teach, one of the things I find the hardest about speaking is how to get started. Mm-hmm. But they help them with that. They give them some kind of statement to make at the beginning just to get them going. Mm-hmm. And it's very, very good.
Powerful.
It's very good. So I hope that I can do the next one.
Yes.
we'll see.
Yes.
I hope it works out.
We do too.
So I know that StoneCroft is doing a lot in trying to reach out to the millennials. And you have a lot of new, I guess I could call it curriculum coming out, or maybe it's already available. Do you want to tell us something about that?
Mm-hmm. We have several different things. For one thing, we do a lot of surveys where we actually question women in the different age brackets and find out what's pertinent in their lives, what's important to them, where they feel like they need building up or information on. And one of the things that we found was what we're calling a conversational study. We're not even calling it a Bible study because these are geared towards women that don't yet know Jesus. And so if you say, do you want to come to a Bible study? It can be really intimidating sometimes, depending on the woman, of course. But these are conversational starters. They're just wonderful studies that are real light. There's no homework. There's no requirements. You just come and participate. I have done several of them with young moms, and they bring their kids, and the kids are playing on the floor around us, and we're just talking, and they absolutely love it. They just said that that they don't get to talk about spiritual things very often, and we really get into things, and it's just really interesting. One of the topics is enough. That's one of the studies. Another one is no. And the other one is rest. And those were all topics that the ladies said that it was just too much for them. And they do things, they ask questions about, like, for instance, one is, have you ever done a Pinterest project and how did it make you feel? Did it fail? Was it successful? And it's really interesting to hear what they have to say, and then we bring it around that, in all of our studies, at one point in the study, we offer them an opportunity to ask Jesus into their life. And they've been very, very well received.
How long do these conversations last?
They're about an hour to an hour and a half, just depending on your group and how chatty they are. And then they're a 4-week study.
And where do you usually meet? Is there a recommended place?
It's someone's home. You can meet it at a church, someone's home, a coffee shop, just wherever you feel like you can talk. The particular young ladies I was with preferred being at someone's home so that they could change diapers and do all that, and without feeling, and like I said, the kids were right there, and we all took turns holding them or entertaining them or whatever. So it worked really, really well.
Wow, I'm just intrigued by that. I mean, that just is so cool. What a niche your ministry is filling by doing life together with these women, but also just strengthening their spiritual side and that journey and kind of taking them along while you do life with them. I think that's awesome.
And one of the things that I found really interesting from my perspective is that they really valued my opinion. And I went just to facilitate the group and really wasn't planning on sharing. I was just trying to get them to share. And they would talk and they go, well, what do you think? And it was really an opportunity for me to be a Titus woman and to pour into them from a biblical standpoint. And so it was very, very fulfilling to me as the facilitator as well as for them as the participant.
See, and I think that's so powerful, Linda, because I think that's one of the biggest mistakes we make is we want to say what we think first instead of asking women and taking them on that journey, because then when they ask you what you think, it's such a powerful opportunity for you then to share, what you've learned and how you've grown in the Lord versus leading with that can be so intimidating because now they put you up on this pedestal because you've already come through some junk and suddenly, they've got you elevated. Whereas I just love that. That is beautiful.
Yes, it seems to be, like I said, it really surprised me, that they would value my opinion, and it built into me too.
Sure.
So
I want to back up a little bit because I forgot to mention what your title was at StoneCroft, and I know for many years you fulfilled a different title or role there, I should say. But I want to know more about what is the StoneCroft Development Leader, Linda, and what do you exactly do within StoneCroft?
Well, it's kind of just what we talked about. We start Bible studies. We try to come up with new ideas in new venues, new ways to meet women where they are as they are. And Christ's motto or model that he set up for us with go to the people is what StoneCroft is trying to follow. So we are moving towards different areas so that we can meet the needs of the women where they are as they are. And I can give you an example. One, again, is what we are partnering with Betty with is, what's it called? Tats, my mind just went blank. Tales with Tats. And it's about women that have tattoos. And we've had a couple of pilot programs that have been very successful, and we're really wanting to get one going up here where women that have tattoos, whether they're believers or not, get together and they share about their tattoos. And according to them, tattoos tell a story, and they are something that if you have them, it's an art form. They love to share about their tats. And what we will do is design a program for that venue, that group of people, and it will have the gospel interwoven in it. And then we take the temperature. There is no rule that you do this, this, and this. We just kind of feel what the people are there and what they're ready for. And if they are open to a Bible study, we will offer that. It may be the conversational one. It may be a standard StoneCroft Bible study, like the book of Mark or Timothy or one of those. Or it could be some programs that we've designed that are more spiritual, but not, for instance, one of the things that we've designed is that a little program about 4-week study again, but it's about different people. So it's a story of Martin Luther King and forgiveness, or Carrie ten Boom and forgiveness, Martin Luther King and equality, and then we get Jesus in there as talks about grace. And so it's just a little warm up to get the women involved. So we're really excited about it and really want to get something going.
Wow. Repeatedly, what I hear you saying is the way that your ministry is successful is you first make sure the message is very clear. We value you.
Mm-hmm.
And then that just allows you to, soften the soils, or the Holy Spirit to soften the soils for you then to share the gospel with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I like is, or I hear you saying, is you meet women where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
They do not have to get cleaned up, so to speak.
Right.
You go to them where they are.
Absolutely. We have Bible studies in the prisons, the women's prisons, that are real effective and have just made a huge difference in women's lives. And we have groups of young moms that we call Pray and Play, where they get together and the kids are playing, and then they have speakers and they have different life training skills that they can get. Just depends on each group how they want to set it up, what their needs are in their community. But those have been quite successful around Alaska and the rest of the U.S.
What particularly led you to work with StoneCroft Ministries?
Well, actually, my husband and I were seekers when we first got married. We're not believers. And we went to a meeting very much like that for men and not with StoneCroft. And I said, hey, isn't there anything like that for women out there? And they said no. And so my girlfriend and I tried to get something going, and we just beat our heads against the wall for a year, tried everything, and we just couldn't make anything work. And so we talked to one of the elders in our church and just asked him, how do you know when God is saying, stop, I don't want you to go that way? Or how do you know when that's Satan putting roadblocks in your way? Because the result is still hitting the wall. And he said, I found that when God doesn't want you to do something, he takes that desire from your heart. And he said, do you still want to do this? And I said, absolutely. And he said, okay, then that's Satan. And have you ever heard of StoneCroft Ministries? And we said, no. And he said, okay, let's hook you up. And so he called and found out when the next meeting was, and we got together, and it was exactly what I was looking for, is a way for other people to find Jesus in a non-threatening way.
Mm-hmm.
How is there a way that women can get involved with StoneCroft here in Anchorage?
Absolutely. I can give you my email, and they can email me, and then with whatever their desire is, how God is leading them, and then we will do our best. If we have something going in that venue, we'll plug you in, and if we don't, well, we'll help you create something that would meet the needs and would work for your sphere of influence and whatever your need is to present Jesus to your friends. It could be a knitting group, or it could be a prison ministry. It could be whatever God has put on your heart, and then we'll help you design something to meet that need and present the gospel.
What do you say to women that come to you and maybe they feel like they do have something that they would like to share, but they have a fear of speaking? I mean, I'm sure that's probably a loaded answer, but have you seen women come from a place of being very fearful to getting over that? And then tell me about that.
Absolutely. God's the answer. And as you go into prayer and you pray, he gives you that strength to overcome that. We had one speaker years ago. She's left the state now, but she was a very good friend of mine, and I knew her very well. She would throw up before she spoke every time because she was scared to death. And if you looked at her hands on the side of the podium, they were shaking almost to the point that she couldn't hold the paper or anything. But her voice was calm, and she spoke beautifully. And she said, Jesus just takes over, and he just makes it happen. And she was just magical when she spoke. So it's all about Jesus and tapping in. And we have, when we do the speakers training, we do have people speak in front of us so that we can help them and critique them. And we make sure the first place that they speak is warm and friendly, you know what I mean? So that they have a good success.
Wow, that is really neat. I love that.
And again, I have to say that every speaker that I've heard has been very, very good. You would never know they were nervous. You would never know that they had ever stumbled over giving their testimony. They do a very, very good job.
That's really cool. I'm so happy to hear. I mean, I guess I've heard, buzzes about StoneCroft Ministries, but I am so intrigued about your ministry and definitely look forward to finding out more about it. I just lost my train of thought. I was going to ask her something. I can't remember what I was going to say. But
Well, I want to ask you something. I know that StoneCroft offers Bible studies. Some of the titles are Who is Jesus? Who is the Holy Spirit? Is there a way that anybody can purchase these? Or does they have to be a member of StoneCroft?
No, you can go on Christian book distributors and purchase them right there. and they are excellent studies. And all of our studies, as I said before, some point in the study you get an opportunity to share Jesus, to accept Jesus as your Savior. And they're just really user friendly. A lot of those beginning Bible studies we have an accompanying Bible that's the New Living Translation that goes right along with it. It's all at cost, so it's very inexpensive, but it's page driven. So instead of telling a pre-believer that is curious but doesn't know anything about the Bible, we just say things like turn to page 422, and then it's look for number 5. And it's really non-threatening. Anybody can look up page 455, but when you tell them to turn to 1 John 1:4, they're totally lost and intimidated and embarrassed, and so it really works out well to be page driven. And then there's no apprehension in coming to a Bible study.
Wow. Interesting. I never thought about that. That's definitely interesting. How do you hire one of your speakers?
They're all volunteers.
Okay.
I'm a volunteer. There's a paid staff in Kansas City, Missouri, where our headquarters is, but it's very minimal staff. And every place else, there's about 15,000 volunteers around the country, and we're all volunteers. And
so if an organization wants to, I don't know what the right word is, enlist rather than hire, I guess, do you guys just take up a love offering if there is one, or is there a fee, or?
No.
Okay.
No, it's our ministry. That's what we do. We want to share Jesus with others. So
do you want to give us your email in case some woman listening would like to be a part of StoneCroft?
Sure.
And is that, I know I go to the luncheons as often as I can. They have them once a month. How can you get invited to that? Or how can you be a part of a luncheon?
Well, if you, my email is Linda, Linda, Lou, Lu, 99654 @yahoo.com. And if you are interested in any of those things that we've talked about, you can do that. And I can put you on a list that you will get an email, an evite for upcoming events, and then you'll be in the loop, and you are more than welcome to come. We always have first-timers that come that have never been there before. And one of the things that everyone has always told us is that we make everyone feel warm and welcome. So if any of the ladies out there want to come, they would just be welcomed with open arms. We have different specialty events throughout the year. We always have what we call a special feature, some item that would draw someone in that might want to listen to that, and then they get this gospel message also. Like in the fall, we have a fall fundraiser that's a country fair and baskets and vendors, and it's just really, really a fun time. We have guest nights throughout the year, usually 1 or 2 a year, where we have the meeting at night. Most of our meetings are lunch meetings, but once a year we do an evening meeting where we invite our spouses or men co-workers, and then we usually have a man speaker, and then again the gospel message is presented. And we do the special features that have all different kinds of things. Like we've had flower arranging, financial planning, hiking, all different kinds of things like that are really fun to do and draw women in.
For the first timers, they always get a prize. That's always fun.
Mm-hmm.
And you are made to feel very, very welcome. There is a table hostess at each table. Mm-hmm. And so you get to know a smaller group of women to begin with. And it's always decorated very beautifully. And they have singing, they have music,
mm-hmm.
and a speaker. And the food is good. The conversation is good.
Mm-hmm.
So I would highly encourage any woman to attend. But you were just telling us that Anchorage is not the only place in Alaska that has a StoneCroft
mm-hmm.
ministry, right?
Right. There's some in the valley, and there's also one down on the Kenai Peninsula in Soldotna area. that has been around for about 30 years. They've been doing this, and it's still going and still bringing women to Jesus.
So, for example, where is the training that's going to be in January? Where is that held? Do you guys have a facility, or do you just rent a room somewhere? Or?
Yeah, we just rent a room someplace, usually a church, because if you're coming to learn how to give your testimony, you already know Jesus. Otherwise, we try to have our meetings in real neutral places, like restaurants or coffee shops, something like that, so that the non-believer won't feel intimidated to come, or even someone thinking, oh, well, that's just a Baptist thing, or that's just a Methodist thing, because we want it to be all inclusive. And that's one of the things that I most appreciate about StoneCroft Ministries, is that it is an inclusive. We have almost every church represented. I mean, it's just amazing. And so it's really fun to become friends and minister with women from all different churches that have that like heart for presenting the gospel message.
Before we let you go, Linda, anything else you would like to share?
I just wanted to say that, as I said earlier, our first priority is prayer, and we have different prayer groups. And if that's something that God has put on your heart, we have a group that prays for the military. We get together specifically for that purpose, and that's what we pray for, is the military. Before every one of our meetings, we have prayer get-togethers, and we pray, and it is just powerful. It's really powerful. So we also have, not only with the speakers training, but we also have evangelism training. If you would like us to come to your church and teach you how to do evangelism, personal evangelism, we've got a PowerPoint and a presentation for that, and also small group facilitating, which is really a need that we find out in the Christian community. But we rely on God. We connect women. We share the gospel. We care for everyone, and we support StoneCroft. And so that's basically what we do in a nutshell. And the other thing, if you want to find out more about StoneCroft, you can get on our webpage at www.stonecroft.org, and you can check it out. Check us out. It's a very interactive, fun website.
Would you mind to share your personal email one more time with the listeners? It's
LindaLou99654@yahoo.com. So LINDALU99654@yahoo.com.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Linda, for coming on today and just sharing with us more about StoneCroft. I might talk to Betty and see if we could have you back in, because I'd like to dive more into the process, of the speaker training and maybe even the small group facilitating. I think that's very intriguing. That is, I love doing that, but it really is something that you need some tangible, steps to do it well and drive that good conversation that actually grows the faith of the women that you're facilitating. So that's definitely a responsibility, not to be taken lightly. And I just love that and would love to learn myself more about what you guys offer with that. So thank you so much again for coming on today.
Yes, I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda.
Uh-huh.
And that's another Living Well radio program. And again, you can find us here every Wednesday at 1 p.m. on KATB 89.3 in Anchorage, as well as KJLP 88.9 in Palmer. You can also catch us online at katb.org.